Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Let me turn my light on here so you can see my beautiful face. Good morning. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic. You did beat me to it, Jack. How you doing? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. Here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. I want to open that up a little bit here. Can I do it once I'm live? I think I can. Little too tight. I mean, I'm a good-looking guy, but that was an awful lot of Avery right there, wasn't it? There, that's better. How are you, my friends? Thanks for joining me. Hey, Brent. Remember that question you were asking me the other day about when something was going to happen? Very soon, like Monday. Bruce, Mike, how are things in Arizona? All right, buddy. We'll talk to you tonight, Craig. Have a good day. Tora Grossa just sent me a text. He's going to be on the show this week. I said, hey, don't forget about that radio conversation. And by the way, I officially hate winter. And he just texted me back and said, wuss. I am. Hello, Cliff. Good morning, Tim. Robert, always a pleasure. Joel, thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Here to record this week's Outdoor Magazine show. Yeah, it's winter here finally. And it can go away now. I actually had to shovel last night for the first time. I'm going to have to shovel when I get home from the studio. And I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Don't like it. I admit it. I don't like winter anymore. Yeah, a lot of things are closed back here, Mike. The schools around here closed. It was a little bit icy when I came in this morning. US 10 was pretty icy. 75 was a little bit icy, not too bad, but people forgot how to drive. It's like people have never seen snow before. If you're that worried about it, stay home. Please don't drive down US 10 at 35 miles an hour. You're more of a hazard than if you were going 80. Please do, Brent. Actually, I got some boys across the street and then next door. I got great neighbors. The kids will help anytime I ask. But I'm not going to say I like snowing, but it is a good workout. Robert shoveled twice yesterday and will again today in Grand Rapids. I thought when I got done shoveling last night and it was warm and everything was starting to melt, I thought when I woke up this morning, everything, would be nice and dry. But I woke up to about 1.5 inches of snow and everything was cold. And it's going to get cold, isn't it? Good morning, Martin. How are you? Forecast for next week. You ice fishermen, ice anglers are going to love it. It's going to be cold, cold, cold next week. I think I'll be holed up in the house somewhere. Oh, here, little treat this morning. Jim says, no snow in Algonac. No kidding. Treat in the studio this morning. Michigan brand, and these are peppercorn smoked turkey. And I love peppercorn. So, Nick Grillo, this is like my favorite. I love this stuff right here. Kevin says, ice just starting to form on Lake Ogama on West Branch. Kevin, I really want to get up and golf next spring or summer with you guys. I really falling back in love with golf. And I found the key to golf is don't take it too seriously if you try to master it. Although my brother-in-law, Johnny, Uncle Johnny, he has mastered the sport of golf. But Johnny, I was just talking to Kevin Hannes here, who is the greenskeeper in Ogama, at the Ogama course. And I said, I want to get up and golf with him next summer. Martin says, no snow in Louisiana. What are you doing down there? Matt, how are things down on Lake Erie? Nice snowy morning it is. There's a new patch of professional drivers every year, learner permits and all. Well, true. But I don't believe the people on US 10 this morning were all first-time drivers. I think they were people who just forgot about snow and forgot how to drive, and they're freaked out. Randy, good morning. Mike says, how about those Wolverines? What a wonderful, wonderful game that was. Oh, my goodness. I honestly think, I was telling my wife, Denise, we followed them very, very closely this year, watched every game. In fact, I had a chance to go down to one of the games. I feel like this is a Michigan team, obviously, that will go down in history. and we were fortunate enough to watch this whole thing. And I think McCarthy is. I think he's the best Michigan quarterback I've ever seen play. And I've been watching Michigan since the '70s, and I think he's the best. Anyway, go blue. Hey Jim, good morning. How are you, buddy? Matt says it's cold and windy, snowing east of Cleveland. Good morning, Ed. Nice to have you back along with us on Facebook. I had to work a little magic. Actually, I don't know how you got banned. I certainly didn't intentionally do it. Jim says go blue. John, did you see Wayne LaPierre resign from NRA, and what do you think of their troubles there in court this week? No, I didn't see that, and I don't know anything what's going on with the NRA. I will tell you this. I support the NRA, but I don't answer their phone calls anymore. Is it still going to be Jonathan, Charlie? Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't answer their phone calls anymore, and this goes back years and years ago. I always gave to NRA. I was a member of NRA. I even made my daughter a member of NRA, and I gave them extra money on top of that, and they kept coming back and begging for money. And I said, look, if you need more money, ask me that right off the bat. Don't give me a price of what you need and then come back and keep hounding me. So I don't give them any more money. I don't know if I'm going to be down there. If I'm down there, it'll probably be Thursday or Friday. I don't like to go on the weekend when the crowds are big. Dennis says, great games, and the players developed a lot of character. I agree with you completely, Ace. This was kind of a special group of guys. And when they stayed, when they made that decision last year and said, we're not done, let's stick around another year, it's just a wonderful story. It's a great story. What are things going to be like next year? We're going to lose a lot of guys, maybe going to lose a coach. But this year was very special, and we all got to watch it. Go blue. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? What is Tim saying? Tim is saying, why can I not see it? Come on. Best U of M team ever. Good morning, Matt. How you doing, my friend? Tommy's out plowing snow. We now support GOA. Bill's rubbing it in from sunny Florida. Good morning, Kevin. How are you? Another guy rubbing it in from the Keys. Jeff? I'll tell you again, buddy. You've earned it. You spent your entire career here protecting the people of Michigan in conditions and weather and political climate and stuff that you didn't often enjoy, but you did it because it was your job, and I appreciate that, and I respect you for that. So I don't begrudge you any day at all in sunny Florida. Have fun. Art says, visiting a trail cam company headquartered that my group Crossbow Hunters and I friends partner with. Excellent. I will not be going down to the ATA show. Good morning, John. The Archery Trade Association show, in my opinion, is a farce. It used to be something, but not anymore. Mike Smith, you guys did real well on Erie. I'm sorry I couldn't join you. Thanks for the invitation. My wife Denise was a little under the weather here the last few days. So, Mike Smith says, looks like boating season is finally coming to a close. I, in fact, checked in with Captain Jason Graham of Linwood Beach Marina this morning, about 20 minutes ago. Let me tell you what he said. He said the ramp is currently open. That's of today. The channel is wide open to get out to the bay. He said the temps of the rest of the week will freeze the marina for sure. But as of right now, the ramps are open at Linwood Beach. Good morning, Dan. Steve, good morning. Chad, 45 in rain in the Adirondacks. Shoot. I almost said a worse word. Bill Piles is not going to be able to join me. Okay. Let me respond to Bill. Really? Why can I not see anything this morning? So I'm scrambling here now to find different guests. Anybody want to join me on the radio show this morning? Bernie, good morning. James, good morning. Lure Lipstick checking in, lurelipstick.com. I will, John, I'm going to come down there tomorrow, Friday. I will certainly stop by and see you. John says, how are the roads over in Midland and Saginaw? Not bad. 10 was a little dicey. 75 wasn't bad at all. The city streets in Midland are ice underneath the snow. The thing I ran into, John, was people forgot how to drive, and they're absolutely freaking out. If you are that scared of driving on bad roads that you have to drive 40 miles an hour on a freeway, stay home, because you're causing more problems than if you were going 80. Morning, Dave. How are you? Oh, let's see. Now I'm scrambling here. I get it when people are sick, and no problem at all. But when I find out at the last minute. So let me do some mental scrambling here. So I have a segment here. I'll tell you about the rundown, and I'll tell you my dilemma on this week's show. And it's a pretty interesting show. I'm very excited about it. Ed Blissa, you've heard me talk about the rod restrictions for trolling anglers on the Great Lakes, and I've said for a long time there's no reason to have a restriction. And I've been pushing for it for a while, and there are other groups pushing for it now. Ed Blissick of the Great Lakes Salmon Initiative joins me to talk about a plan to increase the number of rods Great Lakes trolling anglers can run. This is going to go through this time. Then Mark Torregrossa talks about the outlook for the rest of winter. When I scheduled this conversation with Mark, it was to give him some grief because there hadn't been a winter yet. Well, now there has. In our second hour, Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis, with a very big announcement. Then I was supposed to have Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters on the show. Bill just texted me and says he has pneumonia. He can hardly talk. So I have two segments open. I have the Ask Avery segment, and I have a 1039 segment. I'm going to be scrambling to fill that. And then in hour number 3, Tom Lounsbury. I know who I can get. Let me send a quick text. I can always get Sir Lancelot. Lance. Good morning. Last minute show cancellation. Can you bail me out at 10:39? And Lance will come back and say, yeah, I can do it. Johnny says he can't join us because he's plowing snow. I get it. Okay, let me come back to your comments. I'm so sorry here. I got distracted. Am I going to have to start wearing cheaters here in the studio? Because I'm having a hard time this morning. John Callison, Martin Schindle's wife said 20 is crappy. I'll join. John Bergsma says, I'll join you. Don't forget the what. Anyway, John, you're probably aware of this, but we're going to make the official announcement. In the second hour of this week's show, Mr. Angler Quest joins me with a very big announcement. He's also going to join me. John says, I can bail you out too. I appreciate that, John. He's also going to join me for this month's Angler Quest podcast. And guess what? I think this news is so big that Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest, is going to join me tonight at 7 o'clock for Wednesday Night Live. This is a big deal. In my world, it's a big deal. Thank you, Bradley. Appreciate that. Andrew says no show for him, but he's got enough gear as it is. David, staying inside warm and dry. Hammond, damn you. Just when I make those nice comments to you and tell you how I'm wishing you such luck, Jeff Hammond, who was down in the Keys, said the roads here are fine. The sidewalks are damp in some areas from last night's rain, but we just drive a bit slower as to not get our bike tires wet. You're killing me, Jeff. Costa Rica, sunny and 73. Good morning, Jonathan. Jim Felgenauer said John Bergsma would be a good choice. Maybe Brenda about the upcoming spearing season. Good point. Good morning, Justin. Came home to 9 inches of snow. Scott says, call me. Scott Hans says, I can talk to you about AQs after Brad. Good morning, Rachel. Your hubby's on here this morning. Jeremy, I have been enjoying our offline conversations, and you've really piqued my curiosity. Really. Ed says, I have fishing gear with Jays. Don't know what that means. Get Uncle Ted. I'm banned. I'm blackballed. The Nugent organization has made the decision they do not want to be on my show. I've been blackballed. They haven't told me this, but it's become very clear to me that I am blackballed. And it comes back to a couple of years ago when I wanted to get Ted on the show and he wasn't available, and they wanted to put one of his sycophants on the show, Marks. I'm sure he's a good guy. But I don't want to, I didn't at the time, and I still don't, I didn't want a Ted Nugent look-alike and sound alike. I wanted Uncle Ted himself. And because I declined putting the Marks guy on the show, I am convinced that Ted's PR person has blackballed me. Because I've reached out to her several times. And no, he's not available. He's not available. It is what it is. Chad is heading down to ATA. If flights ever get me there, well, have fun, Chad. I was just talking about ATA. I realize you as a rep have to be there. Me as a media guy, I don't have to be there anymore. I used to look forward to ATA every year. Couldn't wait. Now I have no interest in going. Rachel says he should be working. He's working, Rachel. Jeff says this year, not spending money at the show, just going to Lance's seminar. Yeah, that's his story. He's sticking with it. What else? Oh, some things I want to talk about I haven't even got to yet. Have you noticed the days are getting longer? We've got that going for us, right? Is this the end of the open water fishing season? I don't know. Temperatures next week look like they're going to drop out of sight. Rabbit hunters are liking this. Skiers are liking it. Snowmobilers. I haven't done anything. Scott says now 12 hours without power, and a couple hours we became Amish. A couple hours we become Amish. I'm sure you will see Lance at the Grand Rapids show, Chad, and hopefully I will see you as well. I know. I get it. Lance is a bigger draw than I am. I get it. Teaching Fishing's on here right now. Lance says he's driving to Novi right now. Lance, I appreciate you bailing me out, buddy. I can always count on you. I know that. I haven't been doing much of anything. I've been working. Well, for one thing, we've had some sickness in the house, so I've been taking care of that. But also working on some work-related projects. I really haven't been outside to do much of anything except shovel the other day. Okay, I want to talk about a couple of posts I had on my Facebook page. Wolves and cougars. Nothing gets people's attention like these big top-tier predators. And this whole wolf issue and the possibility, the concept, the theory, the talk, the rumors of wolves in the northern lower. John, try these. Those are great. You better have something to drink with you when you do, though, because they got a little kick to them. 60 seconds? Well, I didn't mean you had to right now. I just meant give them a try. Oh, I shot the breeze so much I didn't even get a chance to get to my list. I will tonight, though. 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with the issue of top-tier predators in Michigan. more than I think I want to know, although I do want to know, and more than I think I wish it wasn't. And I think some things are going to be coming out here fairly soon. I'd like to think that I will have some kind of insight into this, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. So I don't know the whole story yet. There are some things that I thought I knew that the more I learn, maybe I didn't know what I thought I did. And I know that's kind of a nebulous, convoluted statement, but that's kind of the way I am in my brain right now. But I'm very interested in it. I will follow up on it. I will talk more about it. In fact, I'm going to address the concept of coy wolves in this week's Ask Avery segment. I never did tell you who was on the show, did I? I did. All right, my friends, have a great day. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network. And so glad to have you along with us on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. How are you? It appears wintertime has decided that it's time to start. Anyway, I was talking last week and the last several weeks about, boy, we just haven't had much of a winter. But in this past week and the forecast for the next several days, I guess it's going to be wintertime now, huh? I have noticed, though, and this is good news, we've got this going for us. The days are getting longer. Have you noticed that? It's getting light a little bit earlier in the mornings. It's staying light a little bit longer in the evening. So we're moving the right direction. Although, if you're an ice fisherman, a snowmobiler, a rabbit hunter, a skier, whatever you might say, hey, Avery, what are you talking about? I love wintertime. I get it. I think it's wonderful that we have different seasons here in our state to take advantage of. Personally, and I think it's because, as I get older and more of a wuss, as Mark Torregrossa just called me off the air, I don't enjoy wintertime like I used to. But I get it. We need winter for the economic viability of a lot of businesses, companies, and even industries. And a lot of people enjoy it. I know people who would rather ice fish than open water fish. I personally can't relate to that, but I do certainly respect that. So is it the end of the open water fishing season? I guess it's going to depend where in the state you are, right? I just talked with, as I was walking in the studio here, I talked with Captain Jason Graham at Linwood Beach Marina and realized we record these shows midweek. But as I was walking into the studio this morning, Jason was just pulling up to the marina. He said the ramps were open. The channel to the bay was open. He did say with these temps the next few days, the marina is certainly going to freeze up. I don't know. The best thing is if you want to get out if you're looking to get out open water or ice, check ahead, call ahead, talk with your buddies in the area, talk with the local bait shops, the tackle companies. Get online and do some research because right now we're right in that transition period. Is it going to be ice? Is it going to be open water? I'm thinking this last week. Have I done much? Have I done much outside? No. There was a certain football game that I wanted to make sure I stuck around to watch. Go Blue. We've had some family things that have kind of slowed us down the last several days, and some work-related projects. All of them good, but I really haven't been out too much. What I have been doing is, stoking the social media fire, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I find it fascinating that the posts that get the most attention on my page, different categories. Whenever I post a kid, sitting over a deer or holding a fish or a rabbit or whatever with a big smile, that gets a lot of response, as it should, positive response. We want to encourage these kids. We want to show them that we support them. By the way, if you have kids who hunt or fish and you have pictures you want to share, post them on my Facebook page or send them to me in an email, mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com, and use the hashtag #ForwardFuelsTradition. That's #ForwardFuelsTradition. Every month, we will draw a winner from those posts, and you'll get a $50 gift card to the Forward convenience stores. You can use it, actually, your child is winning it, but since they can't, the family's winning it. You can use it for gas at the gas stations. You can use it for snacks or Michigan brand jerky. Mike Avery Hunter Sticks at the Forward stores. Forward Fuels Tradition. Forward Fuels Tradition. The other posts that get a lot of reaction are those that involve top-tier predators. Wolves, cougars. I find it interesting that there is a perception. How do I word this? Let me just say, I get pictures from people on a regular basis who say, look at the wolves I got on my trail camera. And look at the wolves I got on my trail camera in northern Michigan, in central Michigan. And I look at those pictures and I go right away, that's not a wolf, that's a coyote. There are not, in my opinion, there are not wolves in a large population in the southern, in the lower peninsula. Are there a few that are out there? Maybe, possibly. There was one documented a few years ago by the tribal biologists. But are they in every woodlot like some people think? Absolutely not. If we had packs of wolves roaming lower Michigan, you'd know it. Talk to the people in the UP who do have packs of wolves roaming in certain areas. You know it. Also, the other day, I got some very cool video of a cougar on a trail camera up in the western UP. And the cougar was carrying a deer in its mouth. And you can bet that generated a lot of conversation as well. Personally, I think it's cool that we have some top-tier predators. Do we have too many wolves? Absolutely. There are a lot of things going on behind the scenes here in Michigan regarding wolves, regarding the wolf count, regarding the wolf population, if any, in the northern lower. And this is something that I continue to try to learn more about. I've seen some interesting reports the last few days that make me question what I thought I knew. I'm also interested in the concept, and I hate to bring it up, and I'm going to go more in depth on this in the second hour, the end of the second hour in this week's Ask Avery segment, about the concept of coy wolves. When people post a picture of a big coyote, oftentimes they say, look at this wolf, or this has got to be a coy wolf. Let me just say for now that, and again, I've seen some research the past few days that has me second guessing my opinion. Let me just say, let's be very careful at this point about using the term coy wolf. And the reason is, if the term coy wolf becomes generally accepted, and that is a term that makes people think, okay, there is wolf DNA in coyotes, the next thing that'll happen, in my opinion, is we will lose all coyote hunting, because the anti-wackos will jump on this and go, well, listen, if there's wolf DNA in those things, we certainly cannot be hunting them, and we'll lose our coyote hunting. We need to have coyote hunting in this state to keep that coyote population under control. For the same reason we need a wolf hunt in the UP to knock down that population. And in my opinion, just as important, to put the fear of man into those top tier predators. If you go to Ontario, which has a very strong wolf population, and you hunt them, as I have, you learn right away that they have a healthy fear of man. They may be at the top of the food chain up there as far as four-legged critters, but they're afraid of man, and they should be. So if they see you, hear you, smell you, think you're there, think you might have been there, think you may come there to the spot, they're not coming in. They're going to turn around and slink off into the woods. That's not the case in Michigan. The wolves in the UP, because they have not been hunted, don't seem to have this fear of man, this healthy fear of man. And that's one reason why I think it makes them a little more potentially dangerous, certainly concerning. So, yeah, we need to have a wolf hunt. The Ultimate Fishing Show in Detroit is going on this weekend. It always happens at the Ultimate Fishing Show. There's a snowstorm, always. Tickets for the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner will go on sale here very, very soon. Details on that coming up. Don't forget my website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. And I hope you can join me for the Wednesday Night Live segments. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine show, after the break, this is big news. Ed Blisick of the Great Lakes Salmon Initiative talking about a plan to get rid of this goofy 3-rod limit for Great Lakes trolling anglers. It's going to happen, my friends. Mark Torregrossa talking about the weather and the forecast for the rest of the winter. Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis, with a very, very big announcement. This week's Ask Avery segment, more on coy wolves. In our third hour, Tom Lounsbury on rabbit hunting, wintertime hunting, and more. And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting show. I'm excited to do it, and I'm so glad that you're along with us. Okay, my friends. A lot of things going on here in the studio I got to address. Have a good day. I'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis, will join me, and this will be the first time you get a chance to hear what that big announcement is. Talk to you tonight, my friends.